Welcome to another session of Quarantine Conversations. Got a special guest here, uh, Houston's own, Texas' own, Coach Stephen Woods of Hightower High School. His team actually was won co-district champions, was headed to the state finals this year. Obviously, unfortunately, coronavirus interrupted all of that. But welcome to the session, Coach.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me. Always good to talk hoops, man, especially at a time like this when quarantine in the house, nothing to do, can't get in the gym like I want to. So talking basketball is right on time.
Man, I hear you, man. Like I said, I appreciate you taking time out to join me, man, and chop it up just for a little bit. Uh, but like I was telling you, man, I just want to just let people hear your side of, kind of what's going on with you and just that whole your mindset and emotions that was going on throughout that time. But let's just start back with, kind of where you come from and how you got to this point. You almost been coaching for 20 years now, man. So
Yeah.
I mean, you're still fairly young, but you're an OG in this coaching thing, man. I didn't realize you had that many years in coaching, but just talk a little bit about how you got started in coaching.
It's kind of a ironic twist of how I got started. Just a little background about myself. I'm from Bay City, Texas. For those that watched The Last Dance, the Bradford Smith, episode 8, Michael Jordan, he's from Bay City as well. The Bradford Smith is.
Okay,
10,
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah, 10 years older than me. So, I look at a lot of guys here in Houston. They have the luxury of being in a big city and having guys that play overseas or play college ball, play overseas, play NBA, come back and, year in and year out, give them knowledge. But being from a small country town, we didn't have much of that. And so when LeBradford Smith did come back and talk to us or come up to the gym and work out, man, it was like I was all ears. And so, I came out in 96 from Bay City. I was fortunate enough to receive a athletic scholarship, attended SMU up in Dallas, and played 4 years there. And, ironically, this is why I say it's ironic that I am coaching, because when I was graduating, the head coach at SMU at the time was Mike DeMint. He actually asked me if I wanted to coach and, be a part of his staff. And, playing was still in my blood at the time. I could have gone overseas, but I was married and had a kid, and I didn't want to take them, and I didn't want to be away from them. I had to take care of them. And so I had interviewed for a couple of jobs as well, because I was on schedule to graduate. And I received a job offer from a software company, and that's what my major was in. So I just thought that was a sign that the man up above was telling me, guiding my steps. And so I took that job, and everything was good. First year out of college, I made 70. And it was something that I enjoyed to do. I love working with computers and programming. And so I was doing that for about 13 months, and whole economy slowed down. Last in, first out. So I was let go. And so while I was unemployed, I had actually, when I was in Dallas, I moved back to Houston because the job I had, I can work from anywhere. I can work from home. And so we moved back to Houston from Dallas to get closer to family. And so when I was laid off, I used to go work out at Fort Bend YMCA. And so I used to go up there and hoop and work out. And when I was laid off, look how small world is this. Kevin Drones, who was actually an assistant coach at Shadow Creek, his son is the quarterback at Shadow Creek, Tyron Drones. Well, Kevin was the director at the YMCA at the time, and they were looking for some volunteer coaches because they were starting up a basketball league. I was laid off. I had plenty of time on my hands, so I volunteered and did it. And I can remember going to my first practice. I remember saying this could be the start of something, and I truly enjoyed that that league. And soon as the league ended, I was like, I want to continue to do it. So my uncle was a coach. He coaches football, and he had been teaching and coaching for 5 years at the time. So I reached out to him and asked him, like, how can I join the profession? Like, he was like, well, you have to be a teacher, and then coaching is on the side. I was like, okay, well, what do I need to do to be a teacher? He said, you have your degree, so you have to get certified. And he told me I went through Texas, alternative certification program. I went through that summer, was certified in business. And I mean, when I tell you, like, doors just started to open up. At the time, my uncle was coaching in Etna, which is 59 South. It's a good about 50 miles from here, from Sugar Land, straight down 59. Um, and I was actually going to be coaching there. Small town, he knows, the coaches. And so he was going to get me on there. And so I just so happened to look on Texas High School Coaches Association. I saw they had a freshman A position in Katy High School. So I sent my resume in, and within an hour, I received a call from the head coach at Katy High School at the time, and that was Ronnie Edwards. And so, I'm going through my background of who I am, and he was like, I know who you are. I was the head coach at Van Lake when you was in high school in Bay City. Van Lake is 5 miles from Bay City. So he knew who I was. He got me an interview set up with the principal and the head football coach, which was Mike Johnston, who was retired. And, the stadium in Katy, I believe, is named after him now. So I got on there at Katy for 1 year. And then my 1 year at Katy, Coach Carter, Johnny Carter, who was at Hastings, he saw me coaching there, and then he had a position that was open, the JV position. Go ahead, BJ. JV position was open, and I reached out to him about that position and interviewed for it, and I got it. So I was at Hastings for 6 years, and then in my 4th year at Hastings, Coach Carter actually told me he thought I was ready to be a head coach, so he kind of pushed me to start applying for head coaching jobs. And I did, interviewed a couple of times, was runner-up. Ended up getting the head coaching job at MacArthur. And my time at MacArthur was, it really taught me, like, really made me a better coach, because we didn't have the talent that a lot of the teams in our district had. So we really had to work and really had to pay attention to the little details of the game. And it really helped me with my preparation of the game. So I was at MacArthur for 6 years, and then Hightower came open, and I was fortunate enough to get the job at Hightower, and just finished my 5th year there.
So you went through the ranks of becoming a head coach. Being with some good coaches and some good programs while you were assistant. You had, you learned from some great coaches and were around some great coaches. Then you get your shot, like you said, you get your shot at MacArthur. You have that experience there, and then you come into the Fort Bend area and get your shot at Hightower, which you're currently at now. So let's just talk about that, man. Like, you hear the district, the talent that's around this area, and kind of your group that you have this year.
When I first got the job at Hightower and seeing the talent that they had, well, let me rewind. During the time when I was an assistant coach, even when I was at MacArthur as a head coach, I also coached in the summertime. And so in the summertime, I always had athletes. I always had basketball players. And so I always said, if I was fortunate enough to get a job with some athletes or with some talent, being able to develop that talent, I thought that we'll have a shot. And then I got the job at Hightower. My first year there, I truly believe the team I inherited my first year was a state team. We lost in the 3rd round to Dovey, which we shouldn't have lost. But, the ball just didn't bounce our way that particular night. But I learned a lot during that year. But that group that I inherited, One, two, three, four. Four went on to play college ball. Five went on to play college ball because Derek was a sophomore, freshman that year. So, what I wanted to do when I got the job at Hightower with talent, and in that area you're going to always have talent, I believe, was to really go in and develop the culture at the school with the basketball program and set the expectations. And I think in the past 5 years, we've done that. I haven't done it by myself. I have a great coaching staff. Coach Fisher, he's been with me the entire 5 times. He's my JV coach. And Coach Williams, he's my freshman A coach. He's been with me the entire time as well. So I think we've done a good job of having a common language throughout the program from the freshman level all the way up to the varsity level, and also reaching down to Lake Olympia. That's our feeder school. Coach Blair and Coach Andrews isn't there anymore. Coach Blair is there, and we do a good job of communicating and talking and going down to watch them practice, and they're coming up and watching us practice. But just getting that common language, that common expectations for Hightower boys basketball. And in doing that, the group I had this year, they were the freshmen, my second year at the school, and to just watch them to develop. Um, I always tell guys, everyone can see, but not everyone has vision. I always had a vision of getting at a school that has talent and being there for a while and develop that talent and then kind of starting the dynasty. And that's my whole goal. That's what I want to do. I don't want to be at a school for 2-3 years and up and leave and go to another school. I'm at Hightower. I have great administrative support, great community support. The parents are so very supportive. And so I just want to continue to build um, the fundamentals of basketball, teaching them how to play the game the right way, and also have fun while we're doing it. And winning also helps.
No doubt, and I can co-sign on on the great and good that you've been doing in the couple of years that I've known you. You've allowed me to come by and and check out practices and have access to the gym and be around you and your guys. And and I have to tip my hat off to you and like you said, you and your staff, man. You guys do a hell of a job of teaching the game. And I think that's a lost art in today's basketball with a lot of the youth. A lot of kids are skilled and they're doing the training, but they're not being taught the game to know what to do with those certain drills and skills that they're learning. They're just learning the skill, but they can't apply it to a 5-on-5 situation or to a game situation. But they can master it, in practice and doing the skill work. But in the game, the kid looks like he can't play, but that's mostly because these kids are not being taught, the right way of how to play the game and what's the use of the different skills and drills that they're doing.
Right, right. And to piggyback on that, you have a lot of trainers working guys out, and like you said, they look great doing their workout. They understand what they're doing. They understand the move, the counter move, but they don't know how to apply it in the game. And then what happens is you have the parents that are paying the trainers, and the parents see what they're doing, and the parents are happy, but then it's not correlating to the game. And then now the trainer is putting the blame on the coach. And now I think that's when you have that friction come apart. But if you teach them how to use what they already know how to do in a game situation, to me, that's your job as a coach. Um, Develop skill set or take the skill set that players have and then have them utilize them in a game situation. I'm a Y type coach. Like we've been practicing, and what I try to give my guy, I try to give them the freedom on the offensive end to be free and be themselves. So in practice, what I'll do is, let's say we're coming down a 3-on-2 or 4-on-3, we have the advantage, and the player makes a play, and I might like what I saw might be different than what he saw. So instead of saying that he's wrong, I ask him, "What did you see?" Like, Put me inside of your head. Help me see what you saw, so I can then I'll tell you what I saw, and then we can kind of mesh the two. So when this situation arises again, you'll know what Coach Woods is thinking, and Coach Woods will also know what you're trying to do, and then it'll be a happy medium. But you'll find a lot of coaches is just like, no, you're going to do it this way and that way only, and it kind of, to me, it kind of cripples a kid. And no matter how much training he goes off to get, if he's not able or feel the freedom to come on that court and do it, then it's just exercise.
Right, right. I mean, that's a big. I mean, it's a big advantage for some players, talented players, when they have, the coaches who give them the freedom, to go out and be instinctive, and play to their strengths, and also, have a little bit longer rope to make mistakes to learn from, because the game, any sport, you're going to make mistakes, and it's a game of mistakes, and so it's just a matter of how can you minimize those mistakes and learn from them. But also you have to give the kids a chance to to learn from their experience and to build off of it, as opposed to, like you were saying, it's just, okay, my way or the highway, which might not necessarily fit your team or that particular kid's skill set.
Right, right. I always tell guys, I don't care I don't care what gym you go in, I don't care what coach you play for. Um, if you master the fundamentals, you're going to be on someone's team. If you can play defense, you're going to be on someone's team. If you play hard and hustle, you're going to be on someone's team. So it's just those little things that I focus on. And then, my high school coach, he always say he like playing on vanilla. Like when you talk about ice cream, you have to start with the base, and the base is vanilla. You can't get strawberry or chocolate chip or cookies and cream without that vanilla. So once you've mastered that vanilla, then you can get a little bit fancy with it. But if you haven't mastered that vanilla, then there's no reason for you to be trying to do 3-4 combo moves, because that's going to end up being a turnover. And so once the guys understand that, and I'm real big on just coaching on the defensive end. Offensive end, I try to teach them in alignment, spacing, how to play off each other and with each other, as opposed to just give me the ball and everybody watch me do what I do, because that's the easiest offense to stop. Um, and I think even in, like, when we have open gym, this is why I'm missing this time of the year right now, is when we're in the gym getting better. Even in open gym, like, God, that standing around, no, we're not going to do that. You're going to pass and cut, pass, screen away, just learn how to play with each other. Sometimes we'll come down to open gym, and once you cross half court, guys, you got 3 dribbles as a team. So you got to learn how to set screens, get someone else open, catch and shoot, or catch one dribble pull up, as opposed to 50 dribbles.
Right, right. And like I said, man, I tip my hat off to you, man. I think you've done and you're doing a great job with your team and with the program. Like I said, I like your style and where you come from. Like I said, I've been to a few practices and I've seen you. You really teach these guys, and what you're saying is true. Like, you give your guys, you give them freedom to, like, all right, man, what were you thinking? You know what I'm saying? It just and it might, and you as a coach, like, the play was totally wrong. That was a total mistake by you. But what were you thinking? So so I can hear your side of it, and then I'm gonna let you know, like, what I was thinking and what really should have happened.
Right.
But I mean, for you, man, how blessed or how fortunate do you feel like you are in having and the team is made up of more than one individual, but you have a special individual that you've been able to coach the past 2 years. How has that been for you as a coach? Because, like you said, it's always important to have talent, and to have a really good talent and have a special talent really determines how good of a coach and the accolades you actually can reach, and what you actually can accomplish.
Oh man, having a player like Bryce he's a once in a lifetime player to come through a program. You know, it's funny. Prior to Bryce, the other point guards I had, I'm real big on advancing the ball up the court. Let's not dribble it the length of the court. Let's advance it. I was always big on that. And there's some point guards I had that just didn't understand it. They felt that they had to dribble the length of the court and create for everyone. I was like, just advance it up the court and let them, attack, draw a foul, all that good stuff that can happen by advancing it because you put pressure on the defense. He came in as a freshman and didn't even have to tell him that. He understood that. So at that point, I look at my coaching staff. I say, okay, we might have a little something. He kind of has a good basketball IQ. But knowing that with his basketball IQ and athletic ability, I always question, like, can he remember a play? Can he run a team? As a point guard, you're the leader, you're the coach on the floor. Can he do this? And so he came in as a freshman, and once we got going in the athletic period, we went over a play twice. Didn't have to tell him no more. He knew it. And I've had some guys that's been in the program 2-3 years, they still couldn't remember the play. And he remembered it first or second time. So I was like, well, maybe he just knew it at this position. So I took him off the ball, put him somewhere else. Damn, he still knew what to do. I told Coach Fisher, we got one, Coach. But then on the defensive end, though, he was a little lackluster on the defensive end. I said, Coach, he's young. That's going to be my goal, to get him to play defense, challenge him on the defensive end, and continue to develop him on the offensive end. And I say, with defense, I always say this, and I heard this when I was coming up, defense is just your will. Like, that's just your will to sit down and guard. That's just your will to say, you're not going by me. That's your will if I'm on the help side to drop, box out, and rebound. That's in your heart. You just got to want to do that. And I say he might not never had to do that, or his mindset was, you score, you can't stop me from scoring, so I'm going to go score. So it's just about changing his mindset on the defensive end. And his freshman year, prime example. So his freshman year, in some games, towards the end of the game, last 2 minutes of the game, if it's a 2-3 point game, we score, I call timeout. I take him out. And he like, Coach, why are you taking me out? I say, because we're about to go on defense now. And I say, I'm not concerned with your on the ball defense, because at this point in the game, you don't want to lose. You're going to make sure your man don't go by you. I say it's when you're off the ball, or you're going to be disciplined enough to drop and box out and do all that little stuff, because throughout the course of the game, you haven't been dropping, and they've been getting easy layups. And on the flip side, we can say, well, just tell that guy who's guarding his man, keep him in front. We don't have to help, and then he's not going to be open. But this is a team sport. You got to drop and box out. So he come out, he wouldn't get mad. He understood it. At the end of last year, so in that scenario, we get a stop, call timeout, I put him back in. So towards the end of last year, around this time, he told me, Coach, I'm going to be the best defender on the team next year. Say, don't tell me, show me. Don't tell me about it, show me. And to his credit, he's done a much better job defensively this year. He won the defensive player on the team, because we had two guards that were pretty darn good at D'ing up. But he did a better job of playing defense. And I think that's why we were able to get over the hump and be Region 3 5A champions, and then go on to state. It was because of our commitment to the defensive end.
Right. So, okay, so let's talk a little bit about that, man. So, like you said, you guys had a phenomenal season. I mean, overall record, y'all was 33-5. If I'm not mistaken, y'all was co-district champs, right?
Correct.
With Shadow Creek. Okay,
with Shadow Creek,
yeah. Say you got one of the best players in the state. You definitely considered the best player in Houston in his class. One of the top players in the country. In his class as a sophomore. And you also had some veteran guys, and you had a lot of your team was coming back. So you guys was pretty experienced from the previous year, which you guys had a really good run last year. right? You had a really good run and a chance to, possibly make it to the state finals, the state tournament. So this year you guys build on that. I think everybody got better, and it seems like what you were saying, like the ball movement. I really saw that, like guys understood it more in the playoffs. I got to see you guys play Port Arthur Memorial.
Mm-hmm.
I got to see that game. I came and watched that game, and then I saw the Crosby game.
Okay.
So and like I said, I was very pleased and surprised, but I was also surprised the way Chris was playing, the way Cam played, and Big Fella. Those guys was key for you guys, in the games I saw in the playoffs. And so let's just talk about the run you guys had, the season you had, and then how it all came to an end.
Yeah, having the seniors, 8 seniors. Ja moved in around April of last year, so he was with us. Ja's number 44. He was with us just 1 year. Yeah. But Cameron, Christopher O'Neal, Chris Harris, Xavier Powell, who came off the bench, Javon Butler, who came off the bench. Those 5 guys, and Markel James, number 21. Those 6 guys really understood me and what we was trying to accomplish. They knew what it was going to take to get there. I thought last year we won 28-10, I believe, and we went 4 rounds deep. We got beat by Maynard in the regional semis. I truly believe that experience in the playoffs, making that run that we had, really helped us this year, because it was the little details of the game that I would always point out in practice. Shadow Creek were district champs last year, and it was just certain things that they would do that, like, if we weren't doing in practice, I'll bring that up. You say you want to be district champs, but this is something that Shadow Creek did against us, and they beat us. So you saying you want to be district champs, why you're not willing to do it? Don't tell me you want to be a champion, but you're not willing to do what it takes to be a champion. And so I think they got tired of hearing that. And so they bought in, they started doing all those little things, and the camaraderie off the court was like at an all-time high. They really liked each other. I thought last year Bryce was trying to prove himself, and as a freshman playing varsity, you're trying to prove yourself. The way nowadays kids think they got to prove themselves is on the scoring end. And I mean, he averaged 24 as a freshman, so 23 as a freshman. So he did that. He proved himself. But I told him coming in this year, you don't have to prove yourself to anyone, especially on this team. They all believe in you. And I think that was another big factor in us making our run this year, because it was like one big family. Like even to the parents were so supportive. They do anything for all the kids. And guys really bought into, quote unquote, their role. They really bought into their role. Chris Harris did a great job of picking up 94 feet, turning, wearing other point guards down. Chris got tired. I put KO on their point guard and just really wear them down. We like to get out and transition and run. I thought they did a great job of running the floor, sharing the ball, making the extra pass. Ja came in. He started off a little slow because the way we played was new to him. I think in Kansas City, he might have been the most athletic person on the team. I don't think they played as fast as the teams here in Houston play. I don't think the players were as strong as the players here were. But once he got comfortable with the guys, once he got comfortable with the city of Houston and the players down here, his game elevated. Cameron Collins. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but Cameron, at the beginning of the year, he twisted his ankle right before practice started, right before the season started. First practice, he twisted his ankle, and he twisted it pretty bad. Like, he was out 2 weeks, couldn't do anything. So he wasn't there for any of the first practices. Um, the scrimmages we had, he didn't play in any of those. And then once the season started, um, he wasn't 100%. And so it took Cameron about 8 to 10 games to get his legs back under him, and to really play the role that I saw him playing from last year to this year. Once he started, and then he also improved his 3-point shot. So you had Bryce, who came back this year, who did not have to prove anything to anyone on the team. Uh, KO, who had a great summer, handling the ball, built his confidence. Chris, great. He did a great job of increasing his 3-point shots and playing defense this year. He really focused on playing defense. And something else that helped Chris out was Kevin McGaskey, who came to us last year from Ridge Point. Um, Kevin received a scholarship to go to Dodge City Community College, and he only averaged 9 points, but his senior year at Hightower. But so you don't have to score a lot to receive a scholarship, and that's the point I was trying to get Chris and KO to understand, because we only have one ball. You have a dynamic player like Bryce, who's going to have the ball in his hands and who can score at will. Well, he can score at will. But when you have a player like Chris, who is a senior, KO, who is a senior, Jai is a senior, Cam is a senior, they all want to continue their playing career at the next level. No matter what level it is, they want to go to school and play. And sometimes the outside forces are telling them you got to score 20 a game to get noticed. Well, we only have one ball. And I've only seen one team in college when they had 3 guys average 20 points. And that was at TCU when I was in school. Lee Nayland, Malcolm Johnson, and Mike Jones all averaged 20-plus points. And Lee Nayland went on to the league. He was 6'10". But they got up and down, and they tried to emulate Kentucky style of play back in the days. And they pressed, the entire game, and they was trying to get to 100 points a game. So I identified roles. I told the guys their roles. I think in order for us to accomplish our goal, these are the roles that you guys will have to play. And I thought they were superstars in their roles. And even Markel, I didn't know this until after the season. I reached out to Markel to see if he did want to go play college ball, because I'm wanting to send out videos to college coaches on him. He's 6'5", he's long. I think he can go play college ball. But he told me, he didn't. He said he didn't want to, and I asked him why. He said, "Coach, I just don't want to play." He said, "But this year, I started with my classmates. We all had a goal to go to state and win state, and I wanted to finish what we started together. And so that's why I was willing to play this year and do everything I can to help the team win." He wasn't even in our athletic period this year because there was a class that he needed to take in order to graduate. And so he could have taken the class online, but I wouldn't be able to sleep at night or look myself in the mirror had I made him be in the athletic period for basketball and he take this course online and he's not focused and he fails that course. Now he's not able to graduate. To me, his graduation was more important than it being in that athletic period. So I told him, "You've been in the program for 3 years now. You know me. You know who I am." Some of the things that we worked on, we'll just have to revisit them after school when he's not there. And, a lot of people don't know, but it was sometime in playoff games that we're going over stuff during the athletic period, and I forgot that he wasn't in there. And then, we go to the game, and I put him in the game, and I say, "Well, we talked about doing this, we're going to defend this ball screen this way. We went over that today." Like, "Coach, he wasn't in the athletic period." "Oh, my bad." So I couldn't get mad at him, and I just bring him over to the side and tell him, he's like, "Coach, I got you, my fault." It's not your fault. You didn't know because you weren't in the athletic period. That was our fault as a coaching staff because we didn't go over there and we didn't remind you. But that just that goes to show you what type of players that we had this year, and the type of the commitment they had to winning and doing whatever it took to win. Being able to uh, host that trophy up at the regional tournament and win, it felt good. I really thought that we was going to go San Antonio and we was going to win it all. There was no doubt in my mind. Guys were playing well. Um, Everything was clicking on the same cylinder. You know, everybody had a game plan to try to stop Bryce. But again, I just thought with the other guys that we had that can step up and make shots and they can get offensive rebounds and score. And then the way that they were locked in on defense, which led to easy and early offense, it was going to be hard to beat.
So okay, so you guys, man, you get over the hump, you win the region, you crown the champions of the region, man. You're getting prepared for state. I think I read you guys were actually in San Antonio
Mm-hmm.
when you got the news that the state tournament was getting canceled due to the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about those emotions, that feeling, kind of, how the guys reacted, even your reaction and your emotions and feelings about the whole situation?
It was tough. We went up that Wednesday. We had a shoot around. So we went up that Wednesday morning. We get there, we have a little lunch. Then we had a little practice, had about an hour, 15-minute practice. Then we went over to the Alamo Dome for a shoot around, had to shoot around. Lights out Wednesday night. Thursday morning, wake up, breakfast. Then we were going to meet downstairs around 1 and go watch the 1 o'clock game and a little bit of the 3 o'clock game. And then we was going to go to pregame meal, come back. I just wanted to get out of the hotel, not be laid up in the hotel all day. So one of the UIL executive directors called me and said they're not for sure if they're going to let teams come to the games, come to different sessions that they're not playing in because of the whole corona. At first they said only 500 people from each team can come in and watch, as opposed to everybody coming in to watch. So they wanted to keep teams out, try to play along those guidelines. So I was like, okay. So I told the guys we're not gonna go watch. Let's meet downstairs at 3 o'clock and go to pregame meal. Well, one of the things I like to do in my pastime is play dominoes. Now, I play dominoes on my phone. We brought some. So we was in the hotel room playing dominoes, my coaching staff and I, and got an email notification. So I opened up the email, and it was from the UIL stating that they were going to suspend play after the 3A game, which was the 3 o'clock game. And so, here you go. And so I was, as I'm reading the text message, I just dropped my phone. And so my coaching staff, they thought I had a death in the family or something, because like my whole facial expression, my body, like all of that just changed. And so I told them, I was like, I don't think we're gonna play. I say it was just postponed. And then I received a phone call from UIL director saying that, yeah, they postponed it. My AD called me saying if I heard the news and if we was going to spend the night or if we was going to go ahead and go back then. So I had to tell the guys. So I texted them and told them to meet me in my room in 15 minutes. So we go in my room, and they had already got wind of it, social media. And so they was asking me if it was true or not. So we met in a room, and I told them, yeah, it is true. It's been postponed. And that's all I know. It's been postponed due to the corona. I don't know if they're going to or when they're going to continue it. I didn't know if it was postponed for 24 hours. I didn't know. And then, just watching watching the television, the NCAA council, the conference tournaments. So I was like, once they start canceling the conference tournaments, then the NBA start canceling their games. I was like, it's not looking good, guys. So you know, they were down. Of course, we wanted to play. Um, they all, you know, their first question is, you know, are we gonna be champions? How are they gonna do this? I was like, I don't know. You know that, and that's one of the, you know, things as a leader, and you have guys that are looking to you for answers, and the only thing you can tell them is, I don't know. That's, you kind of feel helpless, and that's how I felt at that time. Um, and you know, and the funny thing is, you know, during that time, you know, talking about being a leader and being helpless and not knowing, I called the UIL. They was giving me the same answers. Like they didn't know. This is something that, you know, you could have. No one saw anything like this happen in their lifetime. It's the
Right.
last time something like this, 100 years ago, something like this happened. 1918, I believe I saw. So it's like no one ever planned for anything like this. So it's the unknown. It's the blind leading the blind right now.
So you said, I mean, and I know at the time there was no answers, and I mean, I'm asking this question, kind of already knowing the answer, but how has the UIL figured out how a way to kind of like make these teams that was posted that was in the state tournament? Are you guys receiving type like any honorary championship or something like?
They're going to send all the teams a gold trophy, but on the trophy is going to say 2019, 2020 state basketball championship, meaning you made it to the championship. It's not going to say semifinalists because that infers that you lost. It's not going to say finalists because that means you played and you lost. We didn't play. It's not going to say champs because they didn't want to crown 4 champions for each division. Um, you know, Arkansas just crowned um, the team that made it there. They crowned them co-champs, and that was one of the. I think that was one of the models that they was looking at. Well, you know, in the UIL, those leaders, all of them were ex-coaches, and you know, you have some coaches that have coached for 15, 20, 30 years that never made it to state. You have some that coach that made it to state but didn't win. And so they just kind of felt a certain way to call the 4 teams that made it from each division that made it. You didn't play the game, but call you champs. They just felt that, you know, you're not really champs. And I get that. I understand that. As a coach, I have another opportunity to go. As long as I'm above ground and I'm still coaching, then every year is an opportunity. It's just those seniors that this is their last year in high school. They won't have another chance to go. And it's some of the seniors, um, this was their last opportunity. Some of their last, some of them, their last game was March. It was that March the 8th when we played Shadow Creek. That was their last game.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, not everybody's going on to play basketball at the college level, or you know,
Right.
so yeah, it's a tough situation all the way around. And we're just talking about, you know, high school basketball. We're just talking about basketball, but just for the, you know, student athletes, the students, you know, in different aspects of life, of people who are not getting able to finish certain, you know, certain monuments and certain milestones in their life that was supposed to happen, you know, in 2020 around the spring, March, you know, April, May, whatever. You got college graduates, high school
Mm-hmm.
graduates, you know, you have kids going from middle school to high school. That's the graduation ceremony. You know what I'm saying? The kindergarten, going from kindergarten to first grade. That's, you know, you have so many things, so many milestones that we're not getting to celebrate because of, you know, this unprecedented situation that we're in, and it just really sucks, man, all the way around. But
Yeah.
you know, I'm and for you guys, it's, you know, knowing some of the guys, being around you guys, and being a former student athlete myself who was blessed enough to experience that twice, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not guaranteed And like I said, I was blessed enough to experience it twice, to win it twice. And for you guys' situation, to not even to get there and not be able to experience it, man, like I don't know, I would go crazy. I would be going crazy right now because knowing what I know now, like even though you have the opportunity to possibly get back, it's not guaranteed. Like you just said, there's some coaches who've coached their whole careers and has never made it to a state championship game or state, or the state semifinals. And so, man, like this is really a bummer that a lot of kids around the world won't be able to complete something that they've started.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, all year, I told the guys, let's take advantage of this opportunity. Let's live in the moment. Take advantage of the opportunity. Um, I thought we had the pieces to win state. I thought we had what it took. And I even told them the story of Aaron Glenn. I coached his son, Lil Deuce, and Aaron told us when NFL player. He played in NFL I think for 15 years, and he was with New York Jets. And I want to say they made it to the conference championship, or they even made it to the Super Bowl, one of the two, but they lost. And as a rookie, his mindset was, "As okay, we'll get back. We
Right.
got a young defense, we got a young offense. The core is coming back. We'll get back." Well, it's a business. Some guys get traded off. Uh, Injuries occur. Let's just say he never went back to the Super Bowl. 15-year career. And I told the guys, I say, you wonder why Saints fans were so irate at their referee for not making that pass interference call. Because we take a look at New England Patriots, and they get to the Super Bowl, seem like damn near every year, and you kind of take that for granted. That just shows you how special that group is.
Right.
That shows you how special they are, because it's hard. It's tough. You have to be good. You also have to have a lot of luck on your side, and we get there and not able to play. That's the bummer about all of this. The guys, they believe, they did everything it took to get there, and then it just like being snatched from them. It's like, as a parent, as a leader, you look at your child and you feel like hopeless. You can't do anything for them, and that's just a feeling that I hate.
Yeah, man, it really, like I said, I was really proud of you guys and happy for you guys when I found out you guys actually won the region and was going to state. And like I said, just being around you, being around some of the guys, getting to work with some of the guys, being from Mo City, like I'm always rooting for rooting for the kids. Even though you guys were a rival high school when I was coming up, but I got love for the Green Canes. But Coach, man, I appreciate you chopping it up with me, man, taking some time out. Like I said, I just want to hear your side of the equation about about the whole situation in the season, your thoughts and feelings about how things transpired. I want to congratulate you on a hell of a season, man. Wish you guys would have had a chance to compete for what you work for. But some stuff is out of our control. But wishing you and your family, man, good health. Y'all stay safe. Appreciate you taking time.
No problem, man. Anytime, man. I also appreciate you coming in and stopping in at practices, dropping those nuggets to the guys, showing you support at games. That means a lot. And like I tell people, we have a lot of schools in the area, but when it's all said and done, we all root for Fort Bend. We all want to see guys from Fort Bend do well, and it means a lot for you to actually come to the gym and just talk to the guys. That you'd be surprised at how far that goes, and you give them that confidence because you've been there, you've done it, and you give them that confidence, and you say, you got this attribute in you that I'm telling you, if you do this and you do that, they listen. So I always say it takes a village to raise a child, and I'm the same way when it comes to basketball. I know I'm not the only one that played a role in these young men developing, and so the guys like yourself, I want to say thank you.
No doubt. Like I said, man, I appreciate you for allowing me to have that to have the opportunity, to be a part of it. So I appreciate you, man. But once again, thank you, Coach. I appreciate it, man.
All right, take care.
You too.